Hello viewers, hope you all are fine. Today I am going to introduce you a subject that is of great importance in building up one's career. A good part of all of our professional lives can be decided in how well we are able to write a curriculum vitae or CV as it is known. The other word popularly used for CV is resume, a French word signifying a brief account of one's professional or work experience and qualifications, often submitted along with an employment application. One may have excellent qualifications, strong skills and useful experience, but how does he or she communicate or present him or herself as a prospective employee to the employer is what will make a great deal of difference long before he or she gets called to an interview. Even with modest qualifications and little experience, one could make a very good impression through the CV. There is a saying that the first impression is the best impression. We do not know if that is true of all situations, but certainly the CV is meant to make the first impression that is the best impression. To prepare a CV with the intent to make a good impression adds to the virtue of a CV. Therefore, writing a good and impressive CV is an art in itself. The importance of CV or resume is that it is an image or reflection of a potential job applicant. The CV is a biography of the person, it is biography in shorthand. One look at the CV and you are supposed to get the entire career history of the person. A well written CV will give a good impression of the person, and a badly written CV can give you a poor impression of the person.
Saida. Parth.
Come in, please. Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. What is your name?
My name is Parth Shah.
Okay, Mr. Shah, can we just see your resume? Yeah, Mr. Shah, I can see that you have a very interesting curriculum vitae here. The long list of achievements, but the way in which you have written it is not very correct. I have this nagging feeling that somehow you are not serious about this job,
That's not
going by the way in which you have dressed up. Would I be wrong in saying that?
That's not true, sir. I'm really serious about the job. I'm really looking forward to work.
I do understand that it's a warm day and you need to be having light clothes, but every season has its etiquette, and I was hoping that our candidates would come up in a well dressed way.
So now that I know, I'll take care from next time onwards to appear properly for an interview. As well as I'll look into my CV again. I'll ask for guidance and I will redesign my CV so that it will be better than it is right now.
So maybe some other day, some other time, we can help. All the best so much.
At the end of the day, companies, organizations and institutions are selecting candidates who can deliver goods in terms of good performance. The CV becomes an entry point for them to decide if the person is worth recruiting to the position. Please follow the conversation between the teacher and the student how to write a good and impressive CV.
Good morning, sir.
Hi Parth, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope everything is great with you. Now that you completed your degree exams, you must be looking for a job.
That is true, sir. I'm updating my skills in order to make myself ready for a job interview.
And how do you think you're doing it?
Mostly by refreshing my knowledge of what I've learned from the books. As far as the CV is concerned, I don't think that is much of an issue. It is important that I must read a lot before I go for the interview.
On the contrary, you couldn't be more wrong. The CV is really important for a job. I mean, it gives an image of what you are all about. So the CV is not just a CV in the sense that a photograph is a photograph. Because even a photograph, some alterations are done before it is given to the person. But a CV is little more than that. Because you are actually creative in a CV. You are inventing a self of yours that you want your prospective employer to know about you. So don't you think that that really matters when we make a CV?
Yes, sir, but what about the knowledge that I have about the subject?
The knowledge is only one small part of it. Look, ultimately you need to communicate how much you know, right? Because this person has absolutely no clue about who you are, what you are, where you come from. However, you know, it's like in a marriage proposal kind of a thing in our context. The CV becomes a means for him to catch a glimpse of what your capabilities are. So how well you present a CV will really make a big difference.
But don't you think all that can be done when we go for the interview?
Only a part of it can be done when you go for an interview. But I mean, there's a part before you go to the interview, which is that, I mean, how do you know that you're going to get a call, interview call in the first place? Because the call will depend actually on how well you have prepared your CV. So in that way, the CV is actually a passport to the interview call. Therefore, a CV is really important in that sense. It not only opens the door for an interview call, but you also get to give them a certain impression about you before you have entered the room. For example, you know, I mean, it is only a matter of courtesy that you present yourself very well when you go for a function or when you go for a party. It is supposed to be polite to do that. So there is a certain element of politeness that goes into making a decent CV. The person who looks at your CV before he sees you, he forms a certain impression about you and your personhood. By looking at the CV, he knows that you're this kind of a person, or you could be this kind of a person. And that is very important. Because once he has developed an impression that you are someone who is courteous, you are someone who is polite, and more importantly, someone who is serious, then the prospects that you will be taken seriously in the interview are much higher than those who come without a decent CV.
So, sir, you think the CV is an indication of my presentation skills?
More than that, it's also an indication of the kind of person they want to recruit.
What, according to you, will be the features of a good CV?
A good CV will have lots of important features, you know. You see. Mostly it will be both general and specific. When I say general, it will give an overall impression of who you are. But when I say specific, it has to go into subtle details as well. Okay, Parth, let us look at some of the important features of a good CV, and I would like to share it with you. The most important features of a CV are, I'll go step by step, you know. Beginning with contact information, objective, then profile, then summary of skills, then work experience, then education, then extracurricular activities / memberships, and the last one is references. But I'll begin with the contact information. So you open a CV or a resume with your contact information, because most importantly, your prospective employer needs to know where you are from, where you live, and how accessible you are. And then you go to the objective. Objective is basically career objective. Like, what do you intend to do, or what do you intend to achieve professionally in your entire lifetime?
So it will be a written account of my goals and aims that I have in my life.
In one statement, you have to summarize your entire professional life. So, a career objective does not have to be a grammatically correct sentence. It's more like a rhetorical statement. So, I mean, for example, if you're a computer programmer, you say that I'd like to upgrade my skills. I would like to be in a position that will give me an opportunity where I could explore some of the latest developments in technology, in computer technology, things like that. You see. So somehow that will summarize what you want to achieve in the near future and your long-term goal as well. Both of them have to be compressed in the objective. So the objective in itself might not be very important, but definitely it's a summary of sorts. Summary of your entire professional career and what you intend to achieve. Next is the profile. The profile is more like what you have done until now. The profile is just that. It is just a rough picture of everything you have done so far. And then come the summary of skills. Here you actually tell, what your skills are. Here also, you might have more skills than the job needs, or you might have less. But both are irrelevant to the fact that you have to give a certain image, that you fit the requirements of the job. So in that way, it's a narration of what skills you have, from computer skills to soft skills and to other skills that you might uniquely possess, like language, knowing more languages and things like that. So again, it gives a very positive image, that you thought of presenting your skills in this manner. Then we move on to work experience. Work experience can be kind of tricky for a beginner like you. How would you think of work experience? But it's not a section you need to neglect. You can, for example, say that even very small jobs that you have done can constitute work experience. Or if you have done some kind of research work where you might have got paid for it, or where you might have done it something outside the framework of the academic institution, even that can constitute work experience. So look, even that can be interpreted. So it can be flexible, and you can include some of the things you have done on your own as work experience. So next we go to education. Education probably is the least confusing part of the CV. More or less you put in everything that you have done so far. But again, you see, the point is like, you don't suppose the job does not have a certain requirement. The job does not require you to know French language, and you happen to know French language. So is it important that you put it in the resume or in the CV? Yes, it is. Because it shows that you know something more than what they require. So in that way you can, be accommodative about whatever you have done and inclusive in that sense. Oh, seventh section is extracurricular activities, another area where you have wide scope for interpretation. Anything can be an extracurricular activity, right? So, or a membership of an institution or an organization. So to say that you are a membership of more knowledge related bodies or social activities undoubtedly is a positive thing for a CV. Undoubtedly it gives a very good impression. Last but not least are the references, and you have to be really careful that you give the correct references, and the people who know you very well, it's not like you give a reference somebody who knows you vaguely, because the referees will have to verify, vouch for you that you're a good employee, good prospective employee. So make sure that it's somebody who already knows your work, who already has an idea about who you are, what you are, and is willing to stand by you, because his or her impression will make a very big difference when we go to a job. And in a country like the United States, actually the referees are everything. The references will ultimately decide whether you get a job or no matter how good you are.
So, will it be a account of my personal as well as professional life, or will it be just my professional life?
That's an excellent question. That most students often tend to put their personal life into the resume or the CV, and my advice is never do that. Absolutely, the company has no interest in your personal life. So things like your age or your marital state.
Please follow these instructions while preparing your CV. Set your font to 12-point Times New Roman, Arial or Vardhana and leave at least 1-inch margins on all sides of the page. Type all major category headings such as work experience, education, special skills in boldface and set off supporting details with bullets and indentations. You want your style and look to be professional and readable. Begin with a boldface centered heading at the top of your resume that gives your name, address, phone numbers and email address. You can also increase the font size slightly for the heading. Start your resume's content with a career objective section that briefly highlights your experience and your interest in the position to which you are applying. List education as your major category. Under this include any formal education or professional training that is relevant to the job. Ideally restrict your CV to not more than 3 pages. Check for spelling errors and grammatical mistake before you take a final copy of your CV, as even a small error could cause an embarrassing situation for you. End your resume with a short statement that references are available upon request.
Hello.
Hi.
I guess you're waiting for a call like myself. How has your preparation been?
Hi, thanks for asking. I prepared quite well. I prepared all the necessary elements required for the subject.
In fact, me too. I have revised all that I studied, and I am hopeful that something good will come out of interview.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Good morning, sir. May I come in?
Good morning. Please come in.
Thank you, sir.
Take a seat, Mr. Partha.
Thank you, sir.
Present your CV to us.
May I have a look at your certificates, Mr. Parth?
So your full name is Mr. Parth Shah, is it?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Parth, one thing I would like to say here is I am very much impressed the way you have presented your information in this CV.
Thank you, sir.
And you have clearly mentioned the different sections of CV that are required for the as a job seeker, and it's quite impressive. and you have given different sections like educational qualifications and professional teaching experience, followed by achievements. Good. Seminars participated, personal skills. Yeah, it made me to understand to what extent you are suitable for this job. And did you engage any professional in making this CV for you, or you have done on your own?
Not really, sir. I just took the guidance of my teacher. He explained it to me what are the pros and cons of having a good CV. And I just inculcated that into my CV, and I just redesigned my previous CV to what it is right now.
So, what is your opinion, Mr. Member?
Well, I think it should be given a chance to work in our company.
Selected. Yeah, Mr. Path, I am happy to announce that all our members of the selection committee have agreed to offer you job, and I must congratulate you on this. And we are happy to have you on our board. And once again, hearty congratulations on your
Thank you, sir.
successful.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Hey Parth,
Hello.
how did your interview go?
It went really good. Safe to say, I have the job.
Oh, congratulations.
That's wonderful news. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What was your plus point in the interview?
My most important plus point was my CV.
Is CV very important?
Yes, that's what the interviewer told me. He said my CV was really good. It gave a graphic representation of my goals and my achievements, and that is exactly what pushed their view in my favor, and I got the job.
Oh, I did not know that preparing a strong CV is so important. Could you please give us some highlights to prepare a proper CV?
Yeah, sure. Here, have a look at my CV.
It has to be structured properly.
Exactly.
Thank you, Parth, for enlightening us.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your interview.
Thank you, Parth.
As we have seen in the program that writing a CV is a necessary means of obtaining position at various levels. Although writing a CV is an art in itself, it is an art that can be acquired by each one of us. The most important thing is that we constantly need to improvise the CV what we have written. We need to update the information and make it relevant to the job whatever we are applying to. We need to continuously add on information as we move up the success ladder. So, writing a CV is a lifetime activity and needs to be done with care and dedication. Hope you all have learned the art of writing a CV. Thank you. All the best for their careers.